The Buffalo Bills will destroy the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football if these things happen. That I'm going to tell you in just a moment as we're going to do our final Bills versus Ravens preview for Week 1. Before we do, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you join us tonight as we will be live for Bills versus Ravens Sunday Night Football Week 1, first regular season watch party on the Bills Breakdown. Subscribe and turn your notifications on. We'll have a fun tailgate pregame. We'll have live play-by-play, scoreboard, highlights, stats, analysis, and so much more. Join us when you see this photo on your feed. Click into it later tonight and join us for Bills versus Ravens. It's going to be an absolute blast. Alrighty, so let's get into some Bills news before we get into the reasons to why Buffalo is going to destroy Baltimore tonight. Kendrick Green, though, has been elevated from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster, and this is in all likelihood due to the fact that Cedric Van Granger, the Bills' backup center at this point, cannot go, and he's just not all the way recovered from the calf injury that he's been dealing with for most of the summer. And then kicker Matt Prater was also elevated from the practice squad, and this is obviously way more significant here as Tyler Bass has been placed on injured reserve. Will miss the next 4 games, and you're bringing in a 41-year-old Matt Prater here who I think still has a hell of a leg, but did go down with a meniscus injury in 2024, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on here. The Bills special teams is going to need to be buttoned up all the way. We'll talk about that more later. But let's start on the offensive side of the football here. Look, the Bills will destroy the Baltimore Ravens if Josh Allen goes out there and just is Superman. Like, that's the easiest way to a Bills victory here is if your superhuman quarterback goes out there and does superhuman things. I'm talking about making your receivers look like they're all pros. I'm talking about getting, into the teeth of the defense and running north-south and getting those legs moving and, honestly, just getting the extra inch. And that's what Josh Allen always does. These 50-50 type of plays where we're pushing the pile and he continues to move his legs. Like, that's what's going to decide this game at the quarterback position. It's not going to be, who has the nicest throw at the nicest arm angle, who fits it in the tightest window. We know what these two quarterbacks can do, and it's just going to come down to the little plays, the intermediate stuff, the 50-50 plays that, these superstar-level players can make. If Josh Allen could do that, then you know what? The Bills are going to walk out of Orchard Park in Week 1 with a W. All right, let's give them some different looks in the run game as well. If you look back to the divisional where Buffalo beat Baltimore, it was kind of interesting because James Cook was pretty limited as a runner. He was only limited to about 3.5 yards per carry. But when you integrated guys like Ty Johnson and Ray Davis, and each of those two guys averaged over 5 yards a tote. And I know the Ravens defense is one of the best in the NFL, if not the best in the NFL as far as defending the run. But if this Bills offense can get creative with some design runs for Josh Allen, maybe some Ray Davis, some Ty Johnson work in there, then you're going to keep Buffalo on their heels, or Baltimore on their heels a little bit, and you'll just be able to provide a little bit more versatility there that you didn't have previously. And I like James Cook a lot, but it's gonna be a struggle for him to kind of get into a real volume tonight as far as eclipsing the 100-yard mark or something of that nature. So incorporate Ray Davis, incorporate Ty Johnson, and coincidentally with that, use what you have in your arsenal now to your advantage. Jackson Hawes, the Bills draft pick back in 2025 at the tight end position, he was talked about by offensive coordinator Joe Brady as the best blocking prospect at the tight end position that we have ever evaluated. So go out there and use him tonight in heavy packages. Go out there and kind of give the Ravens a taste of their own medicine. They love to run 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, heavy backfields. How about the Bills do that a little bit and punch them in the mouth there in the trenches? If you guys can give them different looks and incorporate your kind of new shiny toys there on the at the line of scrimmage, then they're going to have a good time running the ball in between the tackles today. At the wide receiver position, Keon Coleman has to show the improvement that we have been shoved down our throats all summer long. All we've been hearing about is this night and day with Keon Coleman. You're seeing a different football player in year 2. Well, it's time to go out there and show it. And I'll say this. For Keon Coleman, if you don't go out there and produce tonight, like I know what the tea leaves in Buffalo say. Like I'm friends with a lot of people up there in the 716. They don't think Keon Coleman's a very talented football player. And to be honest with you, when I was evaluating him as a draft prospect, I didn't think of him as an otherworldly NFL prospect. But the Bills have him now. He's a big frame receiver and a big target for Josh Allen to go out there and hit. And it seems like he's made a lot of strides this offseason. But now it's put up or shut up time. If you don't have a big-time production game in Week 1 against one of the NFL's best teams, then there's going to be more vitriol from the fans talking about you guys missing on a draft pick and trading Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. Look, in general, the wideouts as a whole, they need to get separation. That was something that in the divisional round last year really was a problem for Buffalo. They could not stick with, or the Baltimore cornerbacks were just sticking on the Buffalo receivers. And maybe that was, more of a they didn't have the best overall room out there at the time. Shakir obviously was banged up. You have Amari Cooper there literally doing nothing on the football field. And then outside of that, you really Keon Coleman was a rookie who we all know that at the time especially was not all that effective. So in general, Shakir needs to get separation. Keon Coleman needs to get separation, or if you don't, at least be able to come down with the football when you high point it. And then Josh Palmer, who I have real high hopes for this Bills season. I think he's going to do some of the best work as far as getting separation. He's one of the most elusive route runners in the NFL, and I think the Bills got a great value on him. Don't be surprised if he makes a big play tonight, getting a broken coverage or two. With that being said, we're going to move on to the defensive things the Bills need to do in order to destroy the Ravens in just a moment. But if you want the Buffalo Bills to beat the Baltimore Ravens in Week 1 and start 1-0, don't jinx it. Go down below, smash that thumbs up icon so the Bills start 1-0. All right, we'll talk about it in just a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor in the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills this season. Take it from me. I've been a customer longer than they've even been a sponsor here at Chat Sports. I've won over $10,000 playing Prize Picks, and they always want to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time, like a free $50 when you sign up using our promo code CLNS and play your first $5 lineup. $50 in lineups instantly. You don't have to win to receive the $50. If you guys wanted to see what a lineup looked like, here's mine for Week 1. I have James Cook, just to get in the paint, baby, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. I got Josh Allen. I switched it up for the ones you guys have maybe seen in the past videos. More than 11.5 yards on his longest rush. Josh Allen's going to make a play out there on the football field. And then Lamar Jackson, more than half a passing yard. It was a free square, so I decided to take it. If I hit all 3 of these picks, my money is multiplied by 6x. You can tail my picks or fade them. Just do it at Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This is not super likely to happen. I'll just be honest with you guys. The Bills are playing a really good football team tonight, and they're especially potent offense on multiple fronts. We know the Ravens are one of the best running teams in the NFL, but the way that they, use the run to open up their pass, they actually use the pass to open up their run because it's so damn effective. If you can limit Derrick Henry to just a B-plus game tonight, and I know that's going to take a lot, and this Bills run defense has been their Achilles heel for the last half decade, but if you can limit Derrick Henry to literally less than 100 yards, there's a good chance you walk out of here with a victory. But that's just easier said than done. And I don't have a lot of scheme-dependent things to tell you guys how to tackle Derrick Henry. You just got to go out there and do it. You got to go muck up the interior of that line of scrimmage, and hopefully you can get him down after your first initial contact, which historically has not been the case. But another year older for Derrick Henry, if you can give him a B-plus game, then it's a good chance you walk out with a victory because he's averaged 141 yards on the ground as a Raven against the Buffalo Bills. Just egregious, and don't let it happen again. And this one, to me, is a little bit more important because it's something you can kind of control a little bit more. You can't control how big of a beast that Derrick Henry is, but you can control how well you cover Baltimore's receivers. Because, one, they're not a Hall of Fame level receiving core. Yes, they have talent back there. They have Zay Flowers. They have Rashad Bateman. Even DeAndre Hopkins can get shifty in a route once in a while at this stage. But if Buffalo can man up on these guys, because I anticipate a lot of man defense ran tonight, because that's kind of how you beat Lamar Jackson, just get a guy manned up on everybody, then they're going to be in good shape. If they can man up on Zay Flowers and not allow him to get separation, if they can man up on Rashad Bateman and you swat those balls when he gets a 50-51 thrown to him, then they're going to be in a really good spot. But if they can't man up, then everything's going to be so much easier for the Ravens. If there's these easy dump-off completions or easy one-read completions for Lamar Jackson, then that's only going to hurt the Bills in the pass game and then only open up the Baltimore run game even more. So you have to be able to cover these players or you're going to be in for a rough outing. Now, Buffalo must capitalize on a couple of different injuries for the Ravens here. Patrick Ricard and Isaiah Likely are out. And what that means for the Bills is a couple of things. Well, the Ravens, they like to run some of the most heavy packages in the league, whether it be 12 personnel with 2 tight ends or I think it's 21 personnel with 2 running backs in the backfield here. Obviously, Patrick Ricard being used as a lead blocker most of that time. The Ravens rank at the top of the league in rushing EPA and success, and then they drop to the lower third of the league when those 2 guys are not out there on the field, and they run these 3 wide receiver sets. Conversely, in the passing game, when Isaiah Likely's not out there, Baltimore's EPA drops tremendously as well. So with those guys out, Buffalo has to capitalize on their absences. Throw maybe a couple more man blitzes in there, as Baltimore probably won't have as many extra blockers as they normally do. All right, moving on. Dorian Strong needs to have a big day. I know, because it's not likely that we see Trey White out there on the football field on Sunday night. So Dorian Strong, the rookie, 6th-round pick out of Virginia Tech, you need to go out there and have a big day. Played over 1,400 pass coverage snaps in the ACC for the Hokies, and over 1,300 of those were in press coverage. So go out there and just be a man. Go out there and stuff these guys at the line of scrimmage. Don't let them get into their route, and allow the Buffalo pass rush to get an extra half second on Lamar Jackson before he gets to the man that you're covering. So if Dorian Strong could do that, plus have an effective game in the run defense department, because that's what he was kind of strong with in college. A little bit of a dip and hesitance in the preseason from what the film I saw. But if he can have an effect in the run game, then Dorian Strong, you could be another diamond in the rough found by Brandon Beane late in the draft. Also, he's not the only rookie that needs to ball out for Buffalo, because there's some big-time responsibilities coming for some young players in this team. Deion Walker, Landon Jackson, even A.J. Epinesa, who's a couple years into his NFL career, but he's still a young player. And then T.J. Sanders as well, who's going to be backing up immediately Ed Oliver. Walker's going to immediately be backing up DaQuan Jones, and Landon Jackson's going to immediately be backing up Joey Bosa, who we know is not going to play 100% of snaps out there. So you're going to see the Bills rookies out there making a play. And, I mean, what better test than Lamar Jackson in your first NFL game? Somebody out there is going to have to make a play. I got my eyes on Deion Walker. And then I got my eyes on the Bills' defense as a whole. If they dial up the right man blitzes, they blitzed Lamar Jackson 50% of snaps in the divisional game. I don't think the number is going to be that high tonight, but be selective. Pick your spots in the right spots, and you're going to cause havoc back there and get Lamar off schedule. When he's off schedule, then he can improvise and whatnot, but he's obviously not as calculated of a player as he is standing and hanging in the pocket, which we know he has gotten so much better at over the past few seasons. If Buffalo could dial up the right man blitzes and kind of get him on his heels a little bit, they're going to have an easy time tonight. And if they do all these things, the Bills are going to walk away 1-0. And then there's some couple cliche things that we got to worry about. Win the turnover battle. These two teams are the two best in the NFL at keeping things clean and not giving the ball away. It's probably going to come down to who makes a mistake tonight. And if the Bills end up doing that, then they're not going to walk out of here 1-0. And, you're going to be kicking yourself that you might not get a shot at the number 1 overall seed in the AFC when it's all said and done. This is a huge game for when it comes down the line in January. Lastly, button up on special teams. The Bills are atrocious on special teams in the last 3 out of 4 whole season openers. They've allowed a special teams touchdown in 3 out of the last 4 openers. Cannot allow that again. You have a new kicker, some tweaks to the kickoff rules with a couple of yardage things and whatnot, where you can't touch it, what are touchbacks nowadays. There's a couple more things that need to be ironed out, and the Bills have a new special teams coordinator. So if they are not at their best, then that could be the difference in a game like this where everything else is so equal. With that being said, who do you got, Buffalo or Baltimore? Let me know down in the comment section. Let me know loud. Spam your Buffaloes. Spam your BUFs down below. Give me a go, Bills, and join us tonight as well, as we'll be live for Bills versus Ravens Sunday Night Football. We'll see you guys in the next one, and we'll be live tonight. As always, let's go, Buffalo.